welcome to Them's Writin Words, a podcast discussing selected fanfictions from the world of pastel horse literature. My name is Scribbler, and I will be your moderator today, with my scratchy voice. Joining me for this discussion, we have Caradwin.
Yellows.
Ilya Leonov.
Hello, everyone.
Midnight 29.
Hello, everyone.
And newcomer, Nomad Flicker.
Heya.
We also might have a Doodle Jinx in a bit. She said she might pop in after she gets off work, so just pretend that we introduce her now. Right. So today we're looking at the fanfiction Spark Visions of Twilight by Tangerine Blast, as chosen by me. The synopsis reads, a purple alicorn shows up one night and then vanishes into thin air. Many wouldn't think anything of it beside how strange it was. Not Rainbow Dash. Rainbow Dash has met that alicorn before. The implication it brings and the guilt that follows leaves Rainbow Dash with questions weighing on her mind. Luckily, in the crushing pain of reality, she still has friends. The story was published between 12th of December 2015 and 31st of July 2017 and clocks in at 46,050 words. So, as always, we're going to have the spoiler-free bit of the review to begin with. I will make a note of when the spoilers start to happen, and if people want to go and either read it or listen to Skid Jaramaz's version of it that's on YouTube, which is excellent, they can do so then. So let's see if we can whet your appetites. First of all, tags. Do we believe they are accurate? The only tags it has are adventure and AU. Caradwin, do you think that the tags are accurate?
I would say they're fairly accurate. They have an aspect of a little bit of sci-fi in the respects of like the summary that there is alternatives Twilight Sparkle coming into different dimension to go, oh no. And that is, I feel like there's like some Dark Mirror kind of was it Dark Mirror? Black Mirror aspect.
I just want to hear Twilight go, oh no, as she arrives now in that voice that you just used.
Sorry.
It was perfect. Don't apologise at all. It was brilliant. I love it. Ilya, what do you reckon about the tags?
I think they're absolutely perfect. There may be some others that apply, but I'm not very good at thinking of what tags exist.
Do you think that sad should have been in there at all?
Don't know. Was it sad? I don't feel sad. I don't think so.
Okay. Midnight, what do you reckon about the tags?
I think the tags are pretty spot on for the most part. I don't really think if there's anything you could technically add. But, nah, I think they're pretty spot on. I can't think of any additions or subtractions.
Nomad, what do you reckon?
I'd say maybe add the mystery one, because it's a big part of the entire plot.
That's a good point. And that does segue us quite nicely into later, when we have to think about the ending, because I have thoughts. I think sad possibly could have been there, but I would have added psychological, because it's such dense characterization in this. And it really did. It's made or broken by its character development. And I can't think of anything better than psychological for how much we drill down into these characters and see what makes them who they are fundamentally, no matter the universe. So if I was going to add anything, it'd be that one. So to give you a brief summary of the story, as I said, from the synopsis, this is set during the little plethora of AUs we were given in the Season 5 finale, when Starlight Glimmer goes back in time and stops Rainbow Dash from doing her very first Sonic Rainboom, which, as we know from earlier seasons, is the reason the rest of the main six got their cutie marks and what ultimately led to them becoming friends. Without that development, they did not meet the way that they did in canon, and the events of canon did not happen. And in this particular AU, because they did not become friends, they didn't find the elements of harmony, and when Night Murmur returned in the original double-parter that started the whole show, she was uncontested. Celestia was sent to the moon, or the sun, or whatever it was, and Nightmare Moon has ruled. And this is further on in that timeline, looking at what that looks like a couple of years down the line, with characters who deviated from canon at the point of their cutie mark, I don't know, item get. And it follows, without giving too many spoilers, just giving the premise, it follows, to begin with, Rainbow Dash, Pinkie Pie, and Rarity, who, despite everything, in Nightmare Moon's court, have become secret friends. Rainbow Dash is the only Pegasus in the Night Guard. Everybody else is a Thestral. Pinkie Pie works in the kitchen and is basically abused by everybody. And Rarity works in the castle and is just trying to be as unobtrusive as possible and get on with her job. But they have become friends. And just after Alicorn Twilight drops into this situation, Rainbow Dash realizes that she saw Twilight when she was a kid that day of the race. And Alicorn Twilight told her get on with the race, but Rainbow, being a kid, didn't. And now she wonders whether or not the world will be as shit as it is if she had done that thing. And what unfolds is a series of events that delves into the lives of everybody in this alternate universe. And that's the spoiler-free version. So, overall opinions of the story from a spoiler-free perspective. Caradwin, what do you reckon?
Just going through the small summary that you just went through, I've only just realised like the whole butterfly effect that it has on everybody else. And sorry, what was the question?
What's your general spoiler-free opinion of this story?
It's fascinating. Like I said, like seeing the butterfly effect and seeing the core aspects of their personalities. It's like meeting an old friend, but re-meeting them. And even if you haven't seen somebody for about 20 years, you're still managing to make that connection. It's fascinating how they write it in.
Yeah, I fully agree. I must admit, I got partway through this story and was thoroughly enjoying it, and then realised, oh shit, I think I might be enjoying it because this is what I did with Friendship is Tragic. And seeing somebody else do that butterfly effect is fascinating to me. Ilya, what do you reckon?
I started out not liking the story that much, and there's a reason for that. My initial encounter with it was the audio version, because I had more time to listen than I did to read. And I got about 3 chapters in, and I realized I didn't know what the heck was going on. I was like, I'm not getting anywhere with this. And so then I went back and I started reading it. And the same thing happened. After about 3 chapters, I said, what the hell is this? And then I got the bright idea to go and actually watch the Cutie Remark episode 1 and 2 again.
Oh.
And after that, it was fantastic. It was like, oh God, I remember all of this now. So I think you really do need to have that story fresh in your mind if you're going to read this one. But after that, I enjoyed it a great deal.
Yeah, I do feel like you do need a touch of context and refresher, like previously in My Little Pony season 4. This happened. We've used this for this story. There we go.
Yeah, this is definitely so contingent on knowing canon. And we'll get into it in spoiler territory, but there's some characters who pop up in the last couple of chapters during that bit that I was like, fuck, who are you? Oh shit, no, you're from and I thought they were made up OCs, and it turned out, no, the author just really knows canon incredibly well. Midnight, what do you reckon? What's your general impression of this story?
I enjoyed it. It actually made me laugh quite a few times, which I don't usually do, or at least I haven't done in a while. So I quite enjoyed it overall. And I think it is very well written for the most part. There are, of course, aspects which could be better, but yes, I do agree that you kind of need to know the backstory before you jump into this one. Otherwise, you're going to be very, very confused at the references to what happened. Admittedly, I had to go, did that happen in the show? Oh, yeah, that did happen in the show. Okay, yeah, no, I remember that. I remember that.
And Nomad, what do you reckon?
It was enjoyable. As you said, it's interesting to see how people will twist the stories and characters like you do with Friendship is Tragic. I also really appreciate the characterization of the characters. Like, again, as you said, I'm just parroting you at this point. It just goes so deep, especially into Rainbow Dash's character, and I really enjoyed it.
Yes, the fact that it does. She does become like the lead character at points, which is interesting considering the story is called Spark Visions of Twilight. And yet it's an ensemble piece with special focus on Rainbow Dash. Which does lead us into, we're going to go into spoilers now. So if what we've said so far to you, dear listeners, has made you want to go and either read it or watch those episodes again and then listen to it and read it, by all means go and do so and then come back and join us because we're heading into spoilers now. So, this is a very sprawling story. I am going to give a shortened version of it. I will say right now, you do not get the full feel for this story, the vibe of it, without the prose that to go alongside it. I can tell you the bare bones of the plot, and I can tell you what the characters do, but for once, the only other time this has happened was with Lost Time. Just talking about the facts of the matter will not give you the same impression as actually reading it, and I would definitely recommend people go and read this one for themselves. So as we said, Rainbow Dash, Pinkie Pie, Rarity, secret friends in the castle. Rainbow Dash, Crisis, has met this alicorn and realised, oh shit, I might have fucked up in my childhood and never realised. The world may be all to shit, and it's my fault. She goes to Ponyville, and in an act of either coincidence or just plot, a plot trigger, she finds a book in a discard bin in the Golden Oaks Library. And it is the book that Twilight used in the opening of the show that tells us about the elements of harmony. And she brings this book back to show Rarity and Pinkie Pie and says, what if we could find these? What if we could find these things, figure out how they work, and bring back Celestia? What if we could get rid of Nightmare Moon and bring our families back to us? And the other two are very, very nervous about this. Pinkie especially, because she is, it's hard to put into words just how much she is everybody's whipping boy in this. The only ponies in the entire castle who are nice to her are Rainbow Dash and Rarity. She makes no mention of her family to begin with, and we do presume they're dead. She works in the kitchens. She turns up at one point with a black eye because the head Thestral, whose name escapes me now, takes great pleasure in beating her up at every opportunity that he can. And Rainbow Dash hates this guy, but cannot put her head above the parapet because, as it turns out, Nightmare Moon has got Fluttershy stashed away somewhere and is using her as leverage to make Rainbow Dash cooperate. And it turns out she does this with everyone. She figured out that there's a certain type of personality that is very loyal to people they love, or to ponies and creatures they love. Therefore, they will not bend to her will if she hurts them directly, but they will do exactly as they're told and not fight back if she threatens to hurt and has the capacity to hurt someone they care about who is weaker. And that's what she's done all the way along. That she has found someone who matters to everybody who's close to her and used that to basically blackmail them into loyalty. Fluttershy is Rainbow Dash's. This was written before Rainbow Dash's parents were brought in canon, and she does say that her mum died when she was young and she lost touch with her dad years ago, which is why it's Fluttershy. She literally doesn't know if her dad's alive or dead, and she's not close enough to him to care. However, they are found out. Rarity finds a book on time travel that is written by one Twilight Sparkle of Canterlot. And being the only one who won't be noticed if she leaves, she takes a trip into Canterlot to go and speak to Twilight Sparkle under the guise of being a fan. While she's gone, Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie are found out, accused of being traitors because the books they're reading about the elements of harmony are there, and they make a break for freedom and make it into the Everfree. While there, they are shot with darts that knock them out. If anybody has watched those episodes, of this AU recently, you can probably guess who it was. Zakora. Zakora has darted them, taken them into her house. Pinkie Pie's woken up first and just spilled all of the beans. And so when Rainbow Dash wakes up, Zakora admits that she is part of the resistance, part of the rebellion, and that she is going to help them get away. They decide not to try and get away. They decide to meet up with the resistance and try and add their information to what the real resistance has to overthrow Nightmare Moon. They are taken to the resistance, run by Applejack. Applejack is feigning loyalty to Nightmare Moon because Nightmare Moon beat Apple Bloom so badly that she now walks with a permanent limp and has severe PTSD and many, many scars. But with this extra information, Applejack decides to push the rebellion onto the next stage. She, Rainbow Dash, and Pinkie Pie go to meet with the true leader of the rebellion, who it turns out is not actually Applejack, but Cadence, who has been in a bit of the Crystal Empire hiding away this whole time. When the Crystal Empire returned, Nightmare Moon strolled off, defeated Sombra in like an hour, killed everybody there, and then said to everyone, just leave it, the elements will deal with it. Like the elements of weather will just deal with it. Cadence has been hiding out there, and that's the base of operations for the Resistance. She's there, the Shining Armor's there, and Twilight dips in and out between being in Canterlot. Applejack and Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie and the others are discovered in the farmhouse. Lightning Dust, it turns out, is another guard. And Nightmare Moon is moving on the farmhouse because she wants to get Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie back for reasons unknown. Turns out, Pinkie Pie was part of the first resistance that nearly took down Nightmare Moon when she first came to power. Except that she didn't mean to be. She and her sisters were just so angry about the way the world had turned because in the darkness of night, a lot of creatures from the Everfree started coming out and attacking the local farms, and their parents were killed by timberwolves. And they were all just so full of grief and so full of anger that they marched on Canterlot, all four of them together. And because they were rock-breaking ponies, they were very, very powerful. But as they went, they were picking up other ponies along the way who decided these are the leaders of the resistance. And despite the fact that the Pie Sisters kept saying, no, go away, we know we're probably going to die, but at this point we don't care. And they very nearly took Nightmare Moon out in her nascent reign. That was where she first got the idea of people who are strong will bow to you if you hurt people who are weak that matter to them. Pinkie Pie, being the weakest member of her family, has been stashed away in the castle this whole time to keep her sisters from ever rebelling again. And that's one of the reasons why she could never leave, because she believed that if she did, Nightmare Moon would just flat out kill her sisters. So it was always this tenuous blackmail situation. Now, she has basically pushed it too far and Nightmare Moon is willing to just wipe her out. Applejack and the others get them out of the farmhouse, they start running, they get into the Everfree, they contact Twilight Sparkle via one very particular communication spell she's given them and say, we've been found out, we need you to get us to the Crystal Empire now. They manage to make it to a one-way teleportation circle that has been set up in the old castle of the two sisters, and Twilight, who has no control over her powers. She is huge on theory, but because she never learned how to control her powers by being taught by Celestia, she's just a big ball of magical energy that cannot be controlled. She manages, with Shining Armor Cadence and Rarity's help, because Rarity is up there with her, she kidnapped her, I forgot to mention that, they manage to transport everybody up to the Crystal Empire. The three friends from the castle are reunited, and basically the entire main six is now together, aside from Fluttershy. Nightmare Moon has captured Fluttershy from wherever she was stashing her, and is keeping her in the castle, saying she's going to use her to bring Rainbow Dash back. That's the last we see of Fluttershy until literally the end. The main five, as is, work together to work out a way of getting to the elements of harmony, figuring out where they are, Nightmare Moon knew about them, clearly, because they were what put her on the moon in the first place, went to the Castle of the Two Sisters the night she got back, and took them to her main castle in Canterlot. She is now sitting on them somewhere, and they need to get back to the main castle, get in, and figure out a way to use them to defeat her. They make their way back to Equestria. Along the way, each of them is tested, and we start to realise by about the second pony that it's them showing their elements, same as they did in the opening of the show, in various different ways. Applejack shows that she's honest by trusting Brayburn to not dob them in when she realises he's a guard. Rarity shows her generosity by using all of the money that she has saved up from her wages as Nightmare Moon's servant that she was going to use to get out of Equestria because she smuggled her family out. She uses them all to pay off Caballeron. What the fuck was he doing there? That was the one I meant. I thought he was made up and then realised, no, wait, he's real. Pinkie Pie has to demonstrate that she can make even the hardest heart laugh by they meet Discord's statue, who has, apparently he has reached an agreement with Nightmare Moon that she will let him partially out of the statue if he guards her castle. And he's sick of this deal. He wants out, and he agrees to let these ponies through to try and defeat Nightmare Moon if one of them can make him laugh. Pinkie Pie realises that she can. She is able to use chaos magic and gets her fourth wall breaking powers back. Rainbow Dash realises loyalty is her thing by the fact that she never gives up, ever. Twilight is the element of magic because she's fucking made of magic. They get in, they realise that actually Nightmare Moon has destroyed the elements of harmony, because of course, why wouldn't she? They're all about to be fucking murdered, and Nightmare Moon offers Rainbow Dash a deal. And she brings out Fluttershy and says, you were really handy to have as my night guard. You were fast, you were loyal, and you had a subtlety to you that Thestrals don't have. Therefore, I offer you this deal. You come back and work for me, Fluttershy can survive, and you can pick 2 other ponies from your group to survive. Everybody else will die. Who are you going to pick? And she's hoping to break her. Halfway through this, Rainbow Dash realises that they've each demonstrated their element of harmony, that the elements of harmony may have been turned to dust, but you can't truly destroy it. It's a concept. They get their powers back, and then in a very short epilogue, everything's fixed somehow. The end. Did I miss anything?
No, I think you're
I
good.
think you got it.
Good, because I've been talking for like 15 fucking minutes. Right. Like I said, this is not a story that does well in a retelling. It's very much a drip feed of information. What Nomad said about it being a mystery works really well, actually. I hadn't thought about that before, but yes, it is a mystery right up until the end, and I have thoughts on the ending. So, that said, let's go into impressions of that prose style. How does this story read? Is it trying to achieve any particular tone? And how well does it achieve this? And I'm going to mix it up a bit, and I'm going to start with Midnight this time, because I keep picking on Carrie Dwin first. So Midnight?
Thank you.
Right when I'm just finishing off some chocolate I was eating.
Ooh, chocolate.
Mm.
And you're in Germany, which has like some of the best chocolate.
I disagree. Norway has the best chocolate.
I have never tasted Norwegian chocolate. To be fair, I'm allergic to chocolate, so I shouldn't be tasting it anyway. But why is Norwegian chocolate better than German chocolate?
I don't know how to describe it, but it is just so much creamier, so much delicious. I have a friend who gives us that whenever we see her and everything. So yeah, we have a relatively regular supply of Norwegian chocolate.
Wow. And suddenly everybody's on eBay looking up Norwegian chocolates. Right. On that, what do you think of the prose style?
This is where my brain goes blank. I liked it. It was just... I was able to follow along completely. I was able to... It was never... I mean, the end was a bit rushed. I do feel like they could have maybe spread it out a bit more. Like, this could have been a lot longer story, easily.
Oh yeah, we are so going to talk about that epilogue.
But overall, I liked it. It was good. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. Go, someone else take over. Go for it.
Ilya, what do you reckon?
I feel like the pacing was just right. It did, as you say, read like a mystery, and I hadn't thought about that before, but it read like a very good mystery. And an adventure at the same time. A limited amount of fighting, which, fight scenes often bore me. Okay, who won? That's all I want to know. But I think if he was trying to achieve an adventure mystery, or she, I don't know who wrote this, then
Gotta admit, I don't know Tangerine Blast's gender.
I don't know. It could be either way. But I felt like it achieved what it was trying to for the first chapters until the very end, and then hopefully we're going to really delve into it.
Oh, we so are.
I'd like to survey some point to see how many stories that we thought had improper endings, because we seem to come to that a bit.
It's the Stephen King effect. I don't know how people are gonna talk about the ending, but I'll say right up front, I hated the ending of this. I was
Endings
so
are hard.
into it, and then the ending just lost me. That fucking epilogue. We're gonna get to that. Oh, hello, Doodle Jinx.
Yay,
Hello!
Doodle's here!
Hello,
Doodle!
I
Hot
find
damn.
that my Mac took about, several days to wake up.
It's fine. You just missed my 15-minute rendition of everything I could remember about this story.
Oh no.
Do it again. Do it again.
No, I'm not doing it again. That was my autistic brain on max. That remembering every fucking detail I could.
Aww. And I missed
Basically,
it.
it's an alternate universe, kind of like Friendship is Tragic, except much less tragic. There we go.
Oh,
And also, very few people are dead in this one.
so friendship is not so bad and shit, my friends are dead. I get it.
Oh, yeah, pretty much, yeah. That can be the tagline of this.
What if the fate
my
of the
God.
world was pinned on Rainbow Dash not doing that dash?
Yeah, basically. What if Rainbow Dash was Rainbow didn't dash?
Oh my god.
No
Okay.
rain boom on that one.
Doodle Jinx, do you recall that episode, the Cutie Remark, parts 1 and 2?
Yes, I do.
Well, that's good, because this is
Oh.
all,
Because that's what
all
it
about
hinges
that
on.
episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everything hinges on that episode and going more into that AU and how Rainbow Dash reacts when she sees the alicorn that she last saw when she was a kid who interrupted her race in the future, saying that it's all her fault that she didn't complete that race and that's why the world is shit.
And
Oh.
then a wonderful adventure blooms from that.
Yes, it's butterfly effect, which I can't believe I didn't think of that myself, but Keridwen pointed it out and thought, oh yeah, it is.
Okay, I like the butterfly effect. That's good. Me likey.
Yes. So we were just on talking about impressions of the prose style, so we'll see whether or not people can convince you to go and read it and what you think of it from what we say. Nomad, what do you reckon? What's your impression of the prose style of this story, and did you enjoy it?
It was very episodic, so it was enjoyable. Again, same as you guys. There's the ending, you're so into it, and then you're like, it's like you skip a step. You're just like walking, and suddenly there's a step, and you're like, oh, whoa, what? Oh, there was a
Yes.
step. Okay, I'm here now.
Yes, I fully agree. Yes, it feels like there's a bit missing. Keridwen, what do you reckon?
On that note about the epilogue, it's like a post-coital sex moment. It's like, what are we missing here? Description: they're all snuggled up and they're really cozy. Everything's nice and fine now. Just the daylight. It's just going to calmly come back because we're all stuck on night mode and all PTSD'd up.
There was one thing I did like about the ending.
Go on.
Dash says, or something along the lines of that, they have told Celestia that it can't just go back to normal. That the way it was, it can't just be fixed. That it's going to take time. And Celestia's like, oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Everyone needs to wear night glasses from now on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're also going to be so used to the temperature of night.
I'm also curious about what's going to happen to the plants now.
Well, they were using Discord's magic to be able to survive off moonlight, weren't they? So if he just stops doing that...
Well, was it living off his magic, or was it that he changed it, like he does with everything? Like,
he
if
said
he clicks...
that he changed the composition of the plants so that they could absorb moonlight and sunlight.
Oh, okay, then that's fine. It's just he doesn't even need to undo it. They can just, if they can grow from sunlight too, then they're golden.
Unless, of course, now that they've got sunlight and moonlight, they just grow out of control and kill everybody.
Nah, that's just the forest, not the crops.
It does beg the question, what do you reckon happens to Discord after the end? Do you reckon that, like, Celestia gives him to Fluttershy in this version of the universe as well?
I don't see why not. I mean, he did want to be free, and he did say that he kind of lost his taste for cruelty, so it might actually be that he's good to go. Maybe not in the friendship state, but at the least with the doesn't want to take over the world state? At least not immediately. He said he'd have to wait a few years.
Yeah. I would like to see more of this AU.
Yeah, the other question that is asked is Celestia, after the banishment, is she, like, still thinking the way she was before she was banished? Because if she sees Discord, she's like, oh yeah, no, sunblast on you because you were dangerous. So that could be a cool sequel, actually, to develop.
True. Was Celestia cognizant of what's going on? Has she changed?
I was just thinking that.
Genuine question. Was Celestia the voice in Nightmare Moon's head? Because I got really confused by that.
No.
Because
that
it
was
just
Luna.
seemed to
That
go
was
away.
Luna.
No, that was
Right.
Luna.
That was Luna.
Because that was the one bit that I just, at the end, was like, did I miss a line? It was just literally one sentence that explained this and I've missed it somewhere. Right, okay. Oh, so Nightmare Moon is a whole different personality. That's the way we're going. Okay. Carried what do you reckon of the first song?
Yeah, I think I enjoyed it. It was predominantly looking through Rainbow Dash's eyes, third person omniscient. I felt like it read through mostly through her. And it was interesting because she's not my character. She's not the one that I grabbed to, but it was interesting, like, looking through her eyes on the world.
Sorry, I got distracted. My cat's snoring. I wondered what the noise was.
Aww.
He's flat out on the settee. I literally thought it was a car outside. It's not, it's him.
Aww.
Oh, bless.
So instead of meow, it's meow.
Why are you worried, Bill Freeloader? You've got no bills to pay. No, he's just... Yeah. He's the unofficial mascot of this podcast at this point. Sorry. You were saying, Carried.
But, like, you going through the whole recap of it, it's just like trying to remember, like, certain things. Like, I had missed out that Nightmare Moon had Mooney had taken over the Crystal Empire and destroyed the what's his face within an hour. I was like, oh, Sombra. I was like, oh yeah, why can't I remember that? There's just too much to remember here.
Yeah, it's like I said, a recap of this gives you the bare bones, but not the vibe of this story, because it's so complex, because the author knows canon so fucking well and has used that knowledge to craft this universe. I definitely felt like this universe could exist outside of canon. Not in the same way that other universes did, like those little snippets we got from canon. Some of them I just looked at and went, what? How does that work? The Flim and Flam one, where they're in charge of the universe, that made no sense to me. But this one, it just made sense as no, this could be how the world went. Going on to the next point then, characterization. We'll look at the main six to begin with, and Carriage, I am going to start with you because you mentioned that Rainbow Dash isn't a character you gravitate to. So what did you think of her characterization and that of the rest of the main six to begin with? We'll deal with the other characters afterwards. What's your thoughts on the main six's characterization in this story, given the nature of it's an alternate universe?
I felt Rainbow Dash was, she did feel like she was written mostly true to character. She just felt like a very angry, hyped up, angsty version of herself. And that's just through the circumstances of her situation and the world that she's living in. But she still holds her core values of friendship with Fluttershy and her loyalty to Fluttershy, as well as Pinkie Pie. I'm terrible at trying to do this.
Well, let's think of like Applejack and Twilight. You had last time we talked about Applejack and Twilight in the story that you chose, and you had some very strong opinions on their characterization. What do you think of those two in this story? Because they don't interact a lot in this. Like, apart from that conversation they had about teleporting them out of the Everfree, I don't remember them having a conversation at all. So what do you think of their characterization in this universe?
It was interesting to see Twilight. I mean, Twilight felt so much less confident in herself, in like comparison to like the main show. I mean, she always like has moments of like doubt or like panic, but this was like, I can't do this. My magic's gonna blow. I might kill you. So it was interesting to see.
Well, what do you think of the fact that Twilight never actually learns to control her magic in this?
I mean, she still had like Princess Cadence, and maybe Rarity was around, but I'm thinking that maybe Cadence could have coached her, but that's just a thought.
Cadence
Has a kingdom to rule, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Cadence felt like a bit of a non-entity in this story. Like, she was there, and for the bit that she was there, she seemed in character, and then she just kind of vanished, despite being the leader of the rebellion. And if anybody was going to go up against Nightmare Moon, the other alicorn would have seemed like a good candidate.
Does Cadence in the story, I can't remember, is she with Shining Armor?
Yes, because she and Shining Armor got together as teenagers, and therefore they were still there. They just hadn't married. They were perpetual fiancés in this.
So potentially Cadence could have, if she had the time, tutor Twilight.
Yeah, well, Celestia will have presumably tutored Cadence on how to control her magic, considering she was a Pegasus to begin with. So she would have had to learn. So that's fuck you, Cadence, not teaching your little sister-in-law whom you loved so much how to not fucking kill people with her magic. Wow, it is like Friendship is Tragic. Everybody hates Cadence. What do you reckon, Ilya, of the characterization of the main six?
I found myself during the reading constantly thinking about the characterizations of the characters, just because I did feel they were so good. I was sort of amazed every time something would happen. Oh, yeah, that's just exactly what that person would do. The only one that might have been a little off me would be Nightmare Moon. She seemed a little less active and a little more devious. And, she had that thing where she just, like, tortured people instead of killing them. I just sort of felt like she would have just killed them. But no, I liked the characterizations. I was very pleased with them.
Was there anyone who stood out to you as particularly well written?
I might think that perhaps Pinky was not as well written as the other ones.
Oh, what makes you say that?
Interesting.
She's just the leader of a rebellion. That doesn't seem like Pinky to me. But
to be fair, she did say she never intended to be a real leader of rebellion, and she kept telling the other ponies to leave, which is a bit more on brand of everybody fuck off. We are not fuck. Stop following us.
I don't know that any of them stood out as being particularly better than the other ones. I sort of like Applejack, but no, they were all well written. I think. I was a little interested in why Nightmare Moon didn't. Well, maybe she couldn't get hold of Surfer Pony, whatever his name is, Shining Armor. Yeah. She would have gotten him.
He does talk like a surfer.
Tortured him to do what?
Okay, that really
I am 100% behind you on that one, Ilya. He is Surfer Pony. I will never to this day understand that performance choice in his character.
Hey, Twily, how's it going?
Yeah, man.
Yeah! What the fuck was that whole process? Why does your big brother, Twilight, sound like he's potentially just smoked a doobie?
Maybe that's where his magic comes from. It seemed like Nightmare Moon would have grabbed him to control Twilight, or vice versa, or something like that. But I don't know. Maybe, or were they even brother and sister in this thing?
They are brother and sister, but Twilight, because she was never connected to Celestia, she's basically turned into Moon Dancer. I got that feeling, that she's locked herself away and is pure theoretical research.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
She never got into Celestia School for Unicorns because she never passed the entrance exam. She also, as she admitted, crippled her mother. She literally, yeah, as Twilight has to admit, because at one point she and Rainbow Dash in the Crystal Empire are having an argument, and Rainbow Dash looks up and thinks, fuck, she's got a fireball, and she doesn't appear to realise it. And Twilight has to throw it aside and admits that she does not have much control when she gets angry. And that's one of the reasons why she lives on her own away from everybody else, because when she was a kid, she once sent out a magical, I don't even know what kind of magic it was, but it broke her mum's spine, and her mum now can't walk anymore.
I was a
Magical
little confused.
EMP.
Oh my god.
I was a little confused about the Spike dynamic. I mean, why was Spike hanging around her?
He
She
is
didn't
part
have
of
to
the
say.
Dragon Empire that I don't quite know how, because she didn't pass the entrance exam. But from what Twilight said, Celestia would bring dragon eggs to the entrance exam because dragon eggs require a sudden burst of warm magic to hatch. And then she had this agreement with the Dragon Realm that she would bring them down, get them to hatch, and then send them back. Which is a nice idea, except that in canon, she kept Spike.
Well, that's a weird symbiotic relationship.
Basically
Yeah.
kidnapped.
Yeah, it's, let's be honest, canon's never been particularly clear on why Spike lives with the ponies and why his egg was there. Because it really does seem like Celestia just fucking nicks things.
Dragon Mama was like, I'm going to give her this egg up for adoption. Celestia, take this. This is ready to go. Bye.
Basically, yes. That was one of the things about canon that I really wish they had established at some point. Everybody else got canonical parents, apart from Spike. He got the fake parent, and that doesn't seem fair.
I like to think that he was more found than anything else, but
It would have been nice to have that confirmed, because otherwise it just doesn't make anyone look particularly good.
agreed.
Yeah.
There is a general sort of dragon. What do you call it? They're treated like they're not worthy. What do we call it? Discrimination. There's a lot of discrimination against dragons.
And that's one of the reasons that Twilight opens the School of Friendship, which was... Yeah, the less said about that season, the better. You can't learn friendship from books in school, Twilight. I know. I'll open a school with friendship books in it.
Problem solved.
Yeah. Let's just introduce a whole other set of main six to watch instead of the ponies that we like and have been the background ponies we've been following for several years. I just really don't like the school arc. I'm really sorry. I've never been able to gravitate toward it. I
No,
don't know
no.
why.
If I was-
It just felt like wasted time.
You'd wonder if they would like do an exchange system at the Friendship School of Magic.
Yeah. Because it just feels like Equestria is setting itself up as, yeah, we're the best kingdom. We have all the best ideas. Just send your kids to us. No. We're not going to send anybody to you, because why would we want to learn your filthy habits and cultures and customs? Just send them to us. I don't know. I just don't like it. There's something about that arc just really rubs me the wrong way, and I've never been able to fully figure out why. Nomad, have you got something to say?
Yeah, just about the racism thing, there is racism. Like, Equestria is almost based on racism. When you say, I've been bugging my friends about it for like years. Just not even going away from like all the species like dragon, griffins, and all of that. If you stay with the three basic pony races, unicorns, they have a School of Magic, they have the capital, they have Canterlot. Pegasus, they have the sky. When you go for earth ponies, they just have like elementary school, and then up you go to the crops and fields. Racism is like everywhere in Equestria, like from the basis. I've been saying that for years. People are looking at me like I'm crazy.
No, I agree with you. Unicorn's got a university. And
It's literally
Ponyville,
like a case of,
majoritively earth ponies, is like, fuck off you go. Go and work, plough the fields. Yes.
literally, it's a case of, oh, you finished your education, now go to work.
Where do they think they are? Britain?
It's like you either work at a coal mine, sweep a chimney, or you work a field.
Yeah, but
Or you learn your herbs and become an alternative medicine.
even that wasn't allowed until fairly recently. And even then,
Yeah.
only because of Pegasus brought it back.
I mean, did anybody see Heartswarming Eve? I'm just saying.
I was just
Actually-
thinking.
Just on that note, because it is nearly Christmas, I've been going back and watching Christmas episodes of various different shows. And Bob's Burgers is my big one. But I went back and looked at the original Heartswarming Eve, and it's so bizarre looking back at the original animation. Like, it's so adorable, some of the errors that are in there, and you're just like, oh wow, this hasn't aged well, but I still love it for some reason. There's little bits where it's just, the Flash animation was so in its infancy, and they're doing so well with what they had at the time. It's kind of amazing it looks as good as it does, but also there's so many broken necks in that episode.
Yeah.
God.
And extra ears and extra eyes and loss
Yeah.
of limbs.
And
And
where did
bits
those
where
wings come from?
Just when a pony turns while in their walk cycle is a moment. At one point, the bit that stuck out to me is there's a moment where Applejack is talking to someone else and turns and walks away. And it's like she just momentarily teleports because she doesn't turn, she's just suddenly facing another direction.
Earth magic!
Yes! And I love it. It's so innocent. It's so representative of a different time. But I love it.
I mean, I'm just saying Pinkie Pie can travel, so what if it's a secret magic that all Earth ponies have?
Be better than the Earth Pony magic we had in G5. Sorry, not sorry.
On the technical point, using Flash was awful. Everybody's like migrating to Toon Boom now.
Yeah.
I've been taught rigging on Flash. It's horrendous. Like,
Is
there's
it?
so many issues. It is horrendous. You cannot work with Flash.
Why is that? Is it that it's old, or is it just glitchy, or what?
Because it wasn't meant for animation. It was made, Flash at first was meant to do websites, and then people started using it to do animation, and then studios were like, wait, we can do that for cheap. We're gonna do that for cheap.
Oh.
So you have like folders in folders in folders of the rig, and then you have to match it somehow to the board when it's coming to you, and when it's not working, you're redrawing the frames.
Yeah.
And then
My
Toon Boom was
God.
like, that's fun, but we can do it better. So that's why every single cartoon that you see now are on Toon Boom Harmony. They were like, okay, Flash sucks balls. We are doing something better. Rigging is still horrendous, but it's more functionable.
The first time I heard of Toon Boom was. Does everyone remember the old fan animation of? Oh God, what was it called? Where Luna is singing about becoming Nightmare Moon. Fuck, what was it called? It got taken down by the original animators and then
It's
re-uploaded.
not Princess of the Night, is it?
Might be. I know there were two versions.
What, was it the song where it's from, like, Hocus Pocus? Or was that I'm thinking of a
No,
different
that
one?
one was beforehand, but it was the same animators.
Oh, I know the one. Yeah, a lullaby for a princess, isn't it? Something like that?
Lullaby for a Princess is the Celestia one. This was the Luna one. Fuck, I can't remember it. I do remember that there was a line of "See, the moon is rising. She has come to claim the heavens for her own." And there was
Yes.
It was so well done, and it was the first time I'd ever heard of Toon Boom Harmony. And then immediately was being used in the My Little Pony movie. So
Yeah, that's right.
The moon rises, maybe? You think that one?
might be, yeah. I think that might be. Hang on,
So I can see it in my
I'm
head.
doing a
like,
wiki. I'm going on the wiki. I'm gonna find this fucking thing. Moon
No, I
Rises.
think you're right. That's one with Eileen Monty.
Yes, and there were two versions because the original. Yes, The Moon Rises. Here we go. There's a Kristen Calvin one where she did the original song and then she re-recorded it and put it to the animation because Duo Cartoonist had used Eileen Monty.
Ah.
And Kristen Calvin, she's amazing. Fucking hell, she's amazing. The original was by Ponyphonic. That was it. 12 years ago. Oh, shit. Yeah. 12 years ago, with Kristen Calvin, Ponyphonic did his own version. No, the original was Ponyphonic himself for singing. Then 8 years ago, there was a version released with Kristen Calvin, but that wasn't the version used in the animation. They used Eileen Monty and then Kristen Calvin herself re-edited the video with her own vocals. But yes, that's fucking hell, that's 8 years old, holy shit.
Timey-wimey bullshit.
Speaking of
gosh.
time.
Yes, should we go on? Right, characterization. Who are we up to? Right, Caradwin, you've answered. Ilya, you've answered. Midnight.
I thought they were all well written, and for the most part, what I find interesting was that it was still their character, even though obviously a lot of different things didn't have happened, and other things didn't happen, and so it's realistic, if that makes any sense, for these characters to act the way they do.
Their core values.
Yeah, their core values are the same, but that doesn't mean that they may act differently than what they would normally. I don't think I'm making much sense here.
Well, like Rainbow Dash, we know she's super loyal just at her core from saving Fluttershy off the cloud that day and going down and checking on her. But her loyalty can manifest in different ways. Like in this one, her loyalty made her do cruel things. She killed a baby bear. She killed the Ursa Minor. And she captured and sent to the Gulag and potentially death ponies trying to escape Equestria, which might have included Rarity's family.
Tell me about
That just felt like sweeping that under the rug at the very end.
That was
Ursa Major thing again. I read that in the story, and I was confused by that thing. Who killed the Ursa Major?
Rainbow Dash.
Dashy.
To make the Ursa Major leave, Nightmare Moon sent Rainbow Dash out to kill the Ursa Minor while it was sleeping.
I missed that.
Yeah, it was at the very end of the penultimate chapter when she's trying to turn everybody against each other by pointing out all the stuff Rainbow Dash had done that she hadn't told everybody else in her capacity as a night guard.
Okay, so that was the only place it was mentioned then.
It was,
Only
and
part.
it really did feel a bit tacked on, if I'm honest, because it felt like Nightmare Moon was trying to drive a wedge between everybody, but in which case, Dash, being a main character, should have had an internal monologue about that at some point earlier in the story, because it very much felt like, oh, and we're never going to talk about that again. Kind of like Twilight's mum not being able to walk.
Yeah, this should have been way longer, because just to delve into, because rebellions like this do not happen this quickly. They can,
No,
but
with the chance to fail.
Yeah. This is going to be a weird comparison, but it could have easily been as long as one of the Hunger Games books and their rebellion. Like,
Yeah.
it's a weird comparison, but all the stuff that happens in that, most of it is not actually actively fighting, it's spending time with the characters, so it's, yeah.
Yeah. I get the feeling, like I said, this world feels like it could be inhabited by a whole extra show of its own, and that's both a good thing and a bad thing, because it means like the compulsion to write in details that you as an author know, just to prove that you've thought about that particular plotline, but also giving over the time necessary to develop that so it doesn't feel tacked on, is a very difficult balance to maintain. Nomad, what do you reckon of the characterization of the main six?
I felt they were pretty interesting. I'm not too much into Rainbow Dash either, but you could really feel how loyal she is, like through and through. She's always thinking of other people. Sorry. I just had a sort of moment when the trial for Applejack happened, because she's like, Applejack is very protective of herself and her family, and suddenly, just because Rarity tells her, oh, you should trust people, suddenly she goes out, hi, cuz, by the way, I'm about to go and nuke the entire kingdom and probably die and cause pain and suffering. Please don't write on me. I'm being honest with you. And Bryburn in front is like, okay. Like, that was a little weird, I feel.
Yeah.
Like, maybe Applejack should have, I don't know, being in danger somehow, like falling off a cliff, and trusted someone that was grabbing her, something like that. What else? Pinkie Pie was also interesting in a way, because I like to think like food is where people get enjoyment. Like they can, when you go to a bar or a cafe or something, you sit down, you relax, you're here to enjoy your time, usually. So Pinkie Pie being a cook, it goes with her being in Sugar Cube Corner. But I feel like it's working pretty well, and also her being very closed in. It's a very big contrast to how she usually is in the show. So I enjoyed it.
I agree. Right, I'm going to open up the floor to this one because Luna, Ilya's already kind of touched on this. How do we feel Nightmare Moon was characterized? Does anybody have an opinion on Nightmare Moon herself? Because she didn't appear for a lot of the fic, but she is still this overriding presence in everyone else's stories. So we can infer some of her characterization, despite the fact that she's not physically there. What do we think of how she was characterized? Anyone?
Well, I can go with that.
Go on, Ilya.
I feel like this version of Nightmare Moon was a bit worse than the canon one. This one is kind of creepy and devious, sort of hiding behind secret plots she has to do things in a manipulative way, even down to getting Discord, in on it and promising him his little tiny bit of freedom if he'll fix the plants. And then she goes to everyone else's family and, tortures them or imprisons them, or everything she does is sort of underhanded and devious and creepy, which to me is a little bit sort of a worse character than just being violent and killing people and taking over and not giving a crap. She actually lets the populace live. She doesn't worry about she does sort of worry about keeping people alive so that she can use them, which is really downright creepy. To me, that's the way I felt about it.
Anyone else want to build on that? Yeah, go ahead, Midnight.
Sorry, gathering my thoughts there.
No, it's fine. It's more. I say it more so that people listening know who's talking.
That is fair. I read a story a while ago called The Night Guards. It was at the very beginning when I made my YouTube channel, and this kind of this kind of reminds me of if the end spoilers, if the end of that one hadn't happened the way it did. This is what happens if obviously if Nightmare Moon succeeds and stays in power. So, and if that little bit of Luna in her mind goes quiet and Nightmare Moon is in full control. She's creepy, but she's still got this weird sense of, I know best, I'm the one in power, these all cretins don't know what they're doing, and so she uses the manipulation, and that feels like why she doesn't outright kill anyone, because she knows she's not, she's not a ruler if she doesn't have subjects. She feels as though that's the only way to get their power, to get their loyalty. Well, as much. Even she finds the creepy loyalty of that one Thestral just a bit too much. I like
find
that.
his name.
Yeah, he's the what she actually wants.
Charged Particle or whatever his name was.
Yeah,
Charged Knight or something. Hang on, I'm gonna find it.
Yeah.
Charged Knight. Yes.
Yeah, Charged Knight is exactly what she wants. She wants someone who's completely and utterly loyal, thinks she's a goddess of goddesses, and, but even she finds that creepy. So...
Yeah, literally, I've just found the paragraph that introduces him, and it says, Rainbow ground her teeth at the name, not even having the capacity to be that surprised. Charged Knight was the captain of the Night Guard, a brave warrior, loyal to Nightmare Moon to a point even she found creepy.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
The next line is, he was also the biggest jerk and bigot to ever exist.
Well, yeah.
That's like
He's got a
first or
fetish here.
I think it's like the second or third chapter. It talks about
Literally, chapter 2, straight in, next day, where he's punched Pinkie in the face and she's got a black eye. Because there is a running joke that each Pinkie Pie, Rainbow Dash, and Rarity at various points all end up with a black eye. And at
that. A
one
mark
point,
of honor.
they all just fall about laughing, going, "Oh shit, this is our badge of honor. This is the thing that unites us. Other people get badges, we get black eyes."
It's adorable.
It is, and I love their friendship in this. Like, those three together just, they fit, and I don't know why, they fit really well.
Which is interesting considering, Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash have always been close, and Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash have always been close. I didn't really see Rainbow Dash and Rarity as much as close, but that might just be me. But they do go together quite well.
In this one, in this alternate universe, they do match. Although, I did get the feeling in this one that we were constantly told that Rainbow Dash was close to Fluttershy and never shown it. That did feel a little bit, for fuck's sake, can we please be shown a scene or something that demonstrates why they are still so close?
Yeah, it was just, she was my best friend. I can't lose her. That is it.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I don't know if this is the case, but it felt like the author didn't know what to do with Fluttershy, so she was just written out for most of the story. And that felt like a bit of a wasted opportunity. Like, she was in the castle with Nightmare Moon, and there's that sliver of Luna. It felt like she could have been teasing that bit of Luna out of Nightmare Moon, showing her kindness, but instead she's just gone.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what... Sorry.
Midnight, then Ilya.
I think that's exactly why kindness would have been very difficult to hide, for lack of a better word, or get away with in this world. So it makes, at least for me, I feel like the author might have been a bit troubled of, how do I write Fluttershy free, or even working with the rebellion, when she would probably be, she probably might be more of a problem for both sides, being like, but we should help, but we should help, but we should help, or might be protecting her animals. Actually, that might have been better, but then she would have been away from everyone else looking after her animals, so,
Yeah, I can see why they had Nightmare Moon capture her partway through, but it just felt like a wasted opportunity for Fluttershy's characterization, considering how well characterized and densely characterized everybody else was.
This is why it should have been longer.
Yeesh. Ilya?
I was going to say, wasn't there a point, excuse me, somewhere in there where Fluttershy did try to be nice to Nightmare Moon and for a couple
Exactly.
of
There was, and that's why I thought that's where they were going with that. And then she
I
just
would have
doesn't
liked to
appear
see-
again till the end.
I expected more of that. I really did. Yeah.
Same. I'm glad I wasn't the only one who felt slightly aggrieved of, well, what possible... This is meant to be the elements of harmony. These ponies are meant to be friends, and Fluttershy's just there. She's more like the mascot of the group than a member of it.
Actually, do they have to be friends? Like, they
I always thought
embody
they
the
did.
element. They embody the elements, but they do from
Because
technically.
it was the magic of friendship was the thing, wasn't it?
Well, originally they weren't. If you go into the whole thing with the pillars.
Oh god, do we have to talk about the pillars?
No, we don't have to talk about the pillars. It's just in
The
that
pillars
lore.
was another one like the school where I'm just like, the fuck do we need this for? Stop giving me an alternate main six.
Fair enough. But yeah, technically, from my point of view, they don't need to be friends together, but they could theoretically embody the elements without being friends. I don't know.
No, I get what you mean. Does anybody else have any opinions on Nightmare Moon?
I feel like Nightmare Moon is more all bark and no bite. Yeah, we are told to be scared of her. Everybody is telling everyone, hey, you should fear her. Oh, don't call her Moony. All that kind of things. And we're never shown. So it's a lot of talk and no show. And to go back to the point about Fluttershy, yeah, no, I don't really know what she's doing here. What would have been interesting would have been if like she was a pet, to Nightmare Moon. Maybe
Hmm.
going to the I think there was a fic like that, Mercy. Like she was a doctor doing mercy kills or something, and Rainbow Dash staying so loyal to her friends. Like, I can save her, I can grab her and fix her back, and at the same time having Fluttershy get closer to Nightmare Moon. Fluttershy was just there.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But yeah,
feel like she's
Nightmare Moon was just here. Like, yeah, we were supposed to be scared. We were told she was bad, and then she gets PTSD from a Pegasi that is locked in a dungeon. Just you're a ruler. You're supposed to be scary, please.
Carried.
I feel like this happens a lot with villains who have minions, but the moment they establish some kind of power and they get minions, they sort of rest in their laurels and work in the background and hope that their minions do everything for them and just play around. They just like to play with their food. And Nightmare Moon, she does have values. She values loyalty. What is very clear throughout the whole story is that she values loyalty and fear. That everybody doesn't love her. That everybody fears her and respects her, and she relies on that, I think. But she's just very. She's not even. I didn't find her menacing much.
She did feel like a lot of build up. To use a very English phrase that narrator has started using, she's all fur coat and no knickers.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that
You
works.
can't tell me that you haven't heard that one, Carriagewin.
Not with the first bit.
All the fur coat and no knickers. The idea that, like, she's all the facade, and then there's nothing
So-
backing it up.
It's like she's all talk and no trousers.
Yeah.
All bark and no bite.
Yeah. That she's built up as this huge threat, and then she doesn't demonstrate her power. We are told all the things that she has done all the way through. And just like the friendship between Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash, we're told it, but we're never shown it. We're told that she's really powerful, and we're told all the things she's done, but it would have been really good to have her just, like, devastate the ponies when they arrive, only for them to rise up against her.
It's basically the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Also, Carrie doing what's wrong.
So I just got the image of Nightmare Moon, like, wearing a fur coat and knickers.
Oh my god.
I take things very literally. Careful.
Charge Knight, wouldn't mind that one.
I'm just comparing it to Voldemort.
I'm thinking Hades from Hercules.
Yeah, there's so many of these who are, like, all threat, and then there's nothing there.
Yeah, so any rendition of the Wizard of Oz, like, you see, is a great example because it's literally, you hear of the great and powerful Oz, and you see, like, the city that he's built, and blah, 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 and then they meet him, and he's just a sad little man, you know, and it's one of those things where it's like, oh, but what, you know, where's the magic, and things like that.
Not
But
even being played by Jeff Goldblum can save him.
I know.
Although when he was played by James Franco, that is pretty monstrous.
I mean, there was an amazing version, it was The Wiz, and it had Michael Jackson
Yes.
in it, and Diana Ross.
Yeah, it's incredibly badly made, but it was also really...
It was
well
like
cast.
really, yeah, it's like an amazing cast of like all these amazing like Motown singers and stuff, and then it's like, it's so corny, but it just adds to the charm.
I will agree to disagree with you on that one, because that long shot of Michael Jackson dancing, I will never
Oh
forgive.
my god. I totally forgot about that.
The best dancer in the world at the time, with one of the greatest singers of all time. Yeah, let's shoot them from 50 fucking feet away from behind and never move the camera. Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
literally.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm conscious of time because I fell asleep before the podcast started, and we started late because of that.
Didn't have to
So
admit that.
I do have to admit that because I very rarely hold anything back from my audience. I fell asleep, guys, and everybody had to start late because Scribbler was asleep. Right.
I don't want to
Background
move
characters
on
very
yet.
generally. Ilya, actually, since you're talking, you can take this one.
Thank you. What did you just say before I said that?
Background characters.
Yeah, I'm
Did
not
any
there
of them stand out to you?
I'm not there yet. I'm sorry. I'm still on Nightmare Moon.
Yeah, go on.
I know we've pressed for time, but I wanted to apply it to the real world and try to figure out what is the end point for any dictator? I mean, once Hitler had taken over the world, what was he going to do? Once Stalin consolidated all his power, what was he going to do? What is the end point? What are you trying to do? Were you trying to build something or just tear something down? And this was always my problem with Nightmare Moon in the original series, is that I never saw what she would ever achieve through anything she did other than domination. Perhaps it's an end to itself. But I had a little trouble with this in any part of life. When you have consolidated all the power, is that all there is?
Yeah, it's when you spend all your life fighting for power, you then spend the rest of your life fighting to keep it and don't get any time to actually use it. It's a very Pyrrhic victory in itself, that you can't ever enjoy your victory if you had to get it through force. Anybody want to build on what Ilya just said? Nope, we'll move on to background characters then. Ilya, did any of the background characters stand out to you, apart from Charged Knights?
Don't remember any of them, actually.
Okay.
Brayburn was it. Is that a background character?
I would think so. I was thinking like Lightning Dust and Brayburn were the two who stood out, with Cadence and Shining Armor in there too.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the fact that I don't remember any of them is probably telling.
Yeah, that's an indictment in itself. Midnight, what do you reckon?
I mean, they were well written. None of them stood out as, oh, well, they would never do this, or, no. So, but they were background characters. The main focus was always going to be on the main six and how they fixed everything. Except for maybe Cadence. I admit, I was half expecting Celestia. I don't know why, because of course Celestia would be sent to the sun, moon, Mars, whatever.
I thought it was going to be Chrysalis.
That would have been intriguing, and it does make me wonder where is Chrysalis in all this? But, yeah.
Probably dead, so let's give him Nightmare Moon.
Probably.
She would not tolerate having another ruler that powerful around.
Certainly not. Unless...
And Chrysalis would never fear her, so she'd have to go.
Oh, they did keep making reference to that sparkling red pony. Who was that?
Sparkling red pony?
Yeah. It was the sparkling red pony that popped up, a ruby pony or something.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Maybe.
I think that was just one of the guards or something in the Crystal Empire. I'm not sure.
It was a nobody, I'm sure.
It definitely says something about the functionality of the background characters, that the OCs and the canon characters who are reduced to background characters are all on the same level. With Brayburn, I felt he was a plot point. He could have been any member of the Apple family.
No, I think it would have had to be Brayburn, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Well,
what made it so it had to be him then?
Well, one, we'd already seen the others, and Brayburn is would be, at least in my mind, the next Apple. And all the others, I mean, you could argue it could have been... Well, no, it couldn't really have been Grand Pampere, but... I don't know, he's the only one that would immediately come to mind. All the others kind of are more background characters.
I suppose, yeah.
Plus, he would be on the train. He would be one that would easily travel. Maybe. I don't know. That's my impression.
What about Lightning Dust? Did anybody think of her characterization? She was a blink and you'll miss it character, but she was an absolute bitch while she was there.
So nothing changed.
Wait, where was she?
She was one of the guards who turned up to collect the tithe from Applejack, and then Apple Bloom looked out the window and went, fuck no, they've brought an army.
Oh, yeah.
And Rainbow Dash had to decide if she was going to kill Lightning Dust or just knock her out and leave her.
Oh no, they didn't bring the army. The army came because they caught one of the raiders, and the raider blabbed, and so just so happened that they came after Lightning Dust. And who was the other one? There was one other there.
I don't remember. I think it was a nameless OC. Lightning Dust was the main standout there, which she would have been. She was only like one season before this, I think, in canon.
Yeah, because wasn't she in the Wonderbolts Academy?
Yes, she was Wonderbolts Academy, which is either season 3 or season 4.
I think it was season 4.
So she would have been fairly recent to canon at this point. Shall we move on to the world building?
Yes.
Now, I'm going to sort of break kayfabe here. do we need to talk about the world building? Because we have sort of talked about it already. Does anybody have anything they really, really want to say about the world building, basically, that they haven't already said? Because I get the feeling that we have kind of covered this already.
Oh, wait a minute.
Unless
I'm sorry,
somebody wants to say
everybody.
anything.
I'm sorry, everybody. We're supposed to say no.
Ilya remembers that I prefer having people actually respond, because otherwise I just assume that my mic is cut ooff.
The only thing I would say is world building is great. Would read more into it.
More lore, more lore.
More lore.
Give me the lore!
Oh my god!
That's some tasty lore you got going on there.
Oh my god, it's like a cult. Right, so we'll skip over that one. So, we get on to the bit that I've been hinting at all the way through. What about that ending? Nomad, you can go first on this one. What about that ending? Was it rushed?
It wasn't even rushed. It just happened out of nowhere. 1 second, we're fighting Nightmare Moon, and then poof, Celestia is back. The main six are cuddling in bed for some reason, which is weird. Yeah, no, not like not like the ending. Not at all.
Is the ending just Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy in bed together?
No, the
they're
others are
like, yeah, they're all hanging out in a room. I think Rainbow has Fluttershy on one side, Pinkie Pie on the other, and then you have Rarity, Applejack, and Twilight sleeping on the floor. Yeah.
So just a nice little sleepover. Nothing happened the night before. Nope. Mm-mm.
I was going to say also that's unrealistic. Rarity sleeping on the floor? Really?
Good point.
The
I'm just saying.
Also, this was a few days later from what I remember. They said, like, this happened a few days later, and, the sun will rise more later once people have adjusted. So, yeah. They defeated Nightmare Moon in the last chapter, they faint, and then suddenly it's a few days later. Excuse me, I think we missed a thing.
It's literally like that scene from the beginning of Skyrim. It's like, you're finally awake.
Even just seeing her opening her eyes and seeing Celestia appear or come down from the sun or, interact with Luna, it's... Because this is clearly a fan fiction, I think the author kind of assumes you know what's going to happen next and that it's happened the same in the story as in the episode. But even still, I'd like to see it. I'd like to read it, please. Even if it's a carbon copy, it would still be better.
It just adds more context when it's needed.
Did anyone read the author's notes at the end?
No, I didn't.
Well, there were just a few at the end of each chapter. And there at the end, he was saying something like, saying something like, God, this thing's finally over. I finally finished it, Oh, wow. And I sort of had the feeling from that, well, I'll just write an ending right quick. We've done the climax. We'll just quit. That's the feeling I got from it. And there were a lot of things that need to be discussed.
In some ways, I kind of wish there wasn't. It doesn't. It just feels like it doesnn't need it.
Well, needs a strange way to phrase it, perhaps.
Put in.
There were things like, the people that we never saw that were, I don't know, had been tortured, were in prison, the reunions. I think one of my favorite things in Past Sins. Now, the Past Sins wrapped up beautifully. Penstroke, the author, wrote a lot of nice long sequences that described things coming back to order. For one thing, yes, it would have been nice to see Celestia return. There were other things that I had thought about, and now I'm not thinking about.
Let's say Penstroke's one of my favorite authors.
Oh yes, I'm thinking along the lines in Penstroke, for example. In Penstroke, they even had a nice touching scene where Diamond Tiara reunited with her father after he'd come back from Nightmare Moon's castle. Just little things like that tie things up, that makes you've built up a story to the point where you could sort of milk some happiness out of the ending. You could tease a little joy here and there out of it that would really add to the flavor of the thing. It's almost like the spice is missing at the end. We've got everything but the little spices here and there that make it all sweet. I felt like I don't know that the epilogue was wrong. The epilogue was okay. It doesn't need to be that long, but they need another chapter, entitled something like "Things Come Back Together" or something, and where you see these things happening. But I haven't gone back and read the story again, but I feel like there were some plot points in there talking about things that had been destroyed by. Yeah. Oh, here's one: Discord. I mean, did they let him out? They promised to. I would like to see something about that. He was just sort of tagged in there, thrown in as a sort of throwaway character, but we never got anything out of him again. That would have been a wonderful thing to explore. So, a few things in there I'd like to see.
Actually, that would have been a good ending point. Just Rainbow Dash going back to Discord to free him, and Discord just like, oh hey, you actually did it. Holy shit, you did it. You little ponies managed to do that. And Rainbow Dash going over everything that they're doing just to catch him up. Or Discord straight up asking, okay, what did you do? And so Rainbow Dash just explained, okay, we did that. But it's going to be difficult, but it's going to be okay. And yeah, wrap it in a happy bow.
Well, Scribbler, here's your point. What do you think about it?
I think she's still busy.
Too busy for us.
I know. How dare she?
Where is the Scribbler cat?
Just like Nightmare
Come here,
Moon.
Scooby.
She's built us up into this little cabal, and now she just goes off and bees Nightmare Moon all by herself.
Well, that certainly would be interesting.
I mean, I could do impression of crickets if that helps. Wait, hang on.
Yeah, my little cricket.
Do a cricket. That's amazing.
Is that-
How'd you do that?
Is that what crickets sound like?
Yeah. I do it like by, I don't know, it's a whistling technique I learned.
Wow.
Basically, too long on TikTok, got very bored, and I learned how to do it.
Sounds typical.
I can't do it.
Now you'll get there, Ilya. And the worst thing is about it, it became a stim for me at work. And as soon as anybody hears that noise, they literally just shout my name. They're like, stop doing it!
I could do a low cricket.
That's more like, there's a breed of frog that makes that sort of noise.
Oh, yes.
It's a very similar thing. So it's like a noise.
So have we lost Scribbler? Did she say she was going to do something? What's the deal?
Scribbler, come back!
She said BRB.
We miss you!
So she'll be right back.
Mum,
Yeah,
come back,
she
the
got a phone call.
babysitter's weird.
Wait, who would be the babysitter?
I don't know. We lost them too.
Let's rearrange the furniture while she's gone.
How would we do that? What? Everyone loves to pull a prank.
Quick, let's summon Cthulhu.
Or the flying spaghetti monster.
I could do with some spaghetti.
No, spaghetti does sound pretty good right now, I'm not gonna lie.
Could we sing a chord? Somebody start one and somebody else go up. Let's see if we can get a chord going.
We're the new cast of Starlight Express.
Hum, 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 honk.
Woo woo.
Everything loops back to Jurassic Park.
My God.
I'm gonna have to learn to be quieter because we've got new neighbors downstairs.
Oh no.
Yeah, we just saw the little name on the letterbox, so we're like, okay then.
Ooh, new neighbors.
Now my mind is just imagining what a prehistoric My Little Pony would look like.
The Land Before Time.
Yeah, actually not too far from that I can think of, probably.
When they were teeny. Yep.
My little eel hippus.
My little fossil, my little fossil.
I wonder if she's going to edit this bit out or just keep it in.
Yeah,
This is the most...
She'll edit it out and then she'll listen to it, edit it out, and then put it back in to sneak peeks or whatever
Probably put it in bloopers or something.
That's the word I was looking for.
There you go.
Bloopers.
Bloopers.
So, Doodlejinx, what are you doing for Christmas? Everyone else has said.
Oh, I'm working for Christmas.
Oh, what fun.
Aw, poor you.
Actually, it's not too bad because I work in hospitality. So where I work, it's only open like 10 till 4, and I get double pay. So
That's pretty
Oh,
good.
not too bad.
nice.
That's not bad,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, not bad.
I was like, I'm not going to say no to that, you know.
And theoretically, you could have the morning with your family, have some, delicious, have a nice breakfast, open presents, go to work, come back, and still be there for Christmas dinner.
Well, it's because me and my husband live in our own place, so we'd go to work, come back, then go see either his parents or my parents on Christmas, and then we'll go do the other ones on Boxing Day. So not too bad.
Ah, that is clever. That is clever. That works.
So are you guys, you open your presents in the morning, afternoon, or evening?
Morning.
No!
What's wrong with opening them in the morning?
I'll do-
Sleep!
I'll do one
Delete.
worse than that, Caradwin. We open...
Clever.
Hey, clever! We open... In Germany, you open presents on the 24th, not the 25th.
That's what we do.
Oh.
But
Yeah,
my
that's something here.
ancestors are German, so that's probably why.
But if you're opening the day before Christmas, again, the same question, are you opening in the morning, evening, afternoon, night?
Considering it's just me and Visual, whenever we want, really? Whenever we get up. We don't have anywhere really to go except for the evening when we go to his dad's, so we're just like, whenever we wake up?
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
I should say, whenever I wake up. Visual always wakes up early. I always sleep in till definitely not the afternoon.
we totally believe you.
It's alright.
Yeah.
I on my days off, I won't get up till the afternoon, so...
I can't. I'm
Yeah.
one of those people that's like, I'm at least out of bed by 9 o'clock.
I have to leave the house at 7 in the morning most of the week, so
Ooh.
I usually get up. I usually just sleep in the rest of the weekend because I may as well.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's quite actually. I'll tell you a story from one Christmas I had. I remember I went to my parents for Christmas Day, and they were like, "Right, you cannot look at this one part of the room." And it's like, okay, so I literally spent most of the Christmas morning facing the other direction, and I was like, "What on earth could be behind me?" And it's not the tree. It's not like anything like that. And then by the end of it, my parents were like, "Right, we got your last present over here." And I turned around, and my dad pulls off this big dust sheet. And somehow, I do not know how on earth he managed it, both of my parents got me a 1978 Kiss pinball machine.
Aww!
Whoa, that
Yeah.
is cool.
Oh,
If you don't know, I'm a massive Kiss fan, by the way.
a what now?
A pinball machine.
Oh, wow. Yes. Good Lord, what a present.
I know, and it's like it had the original glass backing on it and everything, and I was just like, what am I going to do with this?
That's so
Um,
cool, though!
I know, my dad was like, it's an investment. And I'm like, I believe you.
Investment for you or for me?
For me, hopefully. But no, it's literally just, it's insane. Because I always, it's one of those things I always thought, oh, when I'm older, like, I'll have it one day, and then all of a sudden it's right there. I'm like, how? Because, Kiss is like, I mean, obviously it's known over here, but obviously it's bigger in the States because obviously they're American, and it's sort of like, how on earth he managed to get one, I do not know. It's just my dad is magic, I guess.
He knows a guy that
I
knows a
played so
guy.
much pinball in college. I just lived on pinball machines in college. Pinball and billiards. And ping pong, I'm sorry.
I always play pinball when I go to Brighton. So I go down on Brighton Pier, and they've got loads of pinball machines on the pier.
We had a student union in college, a rather large building in the recreation area. They had billiards, pinball, and ping pong. So that's what
Oh, I'm pretty good at ping pong.
I'm back. Sorry.
Hey, back, I'm Dad. Did you get the
Welcome
milk?
back. I've had a phone call from my parents. Their roof has partially collapsed from the storm.
Oh, shit!
Michael Fish couldn't predict that.
It's not even like properly their roof. They're horrible, horrible neighbours. Also, hello, Clever. I did see you pop up on the screen. I was like, oh, Clever. Yeah, part of their neighbour's roof flung into their roof, and they went up into their loft, and there's just bricks from next door that have been flung in.
No.
Yeah, except that, and I say this knowing it's not everybody's favourite word, but my parents' neighbour is an absolute cunt. She is. She once, because she was angry at my mum for, get this, putting her bin in the wrong place, shouted so loud and for so long and such intimidation that she not only triggered a heart attack in my mum, but disrupted a funeral across the road.
No!
And the people at the funeral had to come and tell her to shut up.
Good
Oh my
Lord.
god!
Oh my
Oh,
god,
yeah.
I'm clutching my pearls.
This woman is horrible, and it's her roof that's done it, and they have to go and talk to her. So my mum just needed a bit of a pep talk.
She got a proper
Oh my
Cockney
God.
accent?
No, she's got a black country accent, which is probably worse,
Ah.
actually.
God, yes.
You've seen the black country accent videos, you know what it means.
Oh, yeah.
No, you're right, Babs.
Well, it's not even you're right, Babs, it's how am you? Yeah, right. Yeah, call my May.
Oh my god, that just sounded like all rounded vowels.
I
That's
can't
all it
imagine
is.
anybody screaming in that. That would be so weird.
There was a lot of swearing. And here's the thing, in black country, it's not fuck, it's fuck.
Yeah.
It's F-O-K, there's not even like fuck you.
Just-
Oh god, I'm sorry for your mum.
So
I
she
got a
just
friend
needed a
who's
bit of a pep talk.
sorry.
That's all right,
So
go on.
I got a friend whose partner is from Birmingham, and it's sort of like just hearing he's like, "Oh, you're right, Duck." You know, it's just like those sorts of things. I'm like, "Oh my god, I love it."
Here's the thing, the town I'm from, I don't sound like I'm from my town. Nobody can ever bloody tell where I'm from, because I don't sound like it. But do you know what the term of endearment is here?
What is it?
Cock. And cocker.
Like see
Literally-
you or see
Like as in the
Cock,
chicken.
as in like the chicken, but literally the first time somebody called me that I thought was being insulted, because then someone went, "You're right, cock." "Oh, you're right, cocker, you are." So, what the fuck? What?
It's
But
sort of like-
it means like lovely person. It's like
Yeah.
chick or or buddy
Oh dear.
or love, but it's cock.
What's that? My mum used to call me cocker sparrow.
Probably same like root word,
Probably.
but like round here it's literally, it's so weird.
So does cocky bastard mean something different then?
From other
No.
regions, yes.
Yeah.
Cocky bastard is like you, as you would imagine, like you absolute bastard.
It's like you are being a bastard right now, but you're a clever bastard.
It's like when somebody says you're cocky. It's like, oh, you're very up yourself, sort of like,
But if you're cock a hoop, it's a bit different.
oh yeah,
What's
And
that
if you
one?
cook and if you eat cockaliki, that's even different.
oh cockaleaky.
Yeah, cock a hoop is where you are really confident in yourself and it's a bit misplaced.
Mm.
Like the pride cometh before a fall, you're cock a hoop. But cockaliki is very, very tasty.
It's like spotted dick.
Well, that's a soup, right?
It is indeed.
Chicken and leek, right?
You're looking it up right now, aren't you?
No, that's is based on memory.
I have you read the fic, Clever?
Absolutely. I was so prepared except for forgetting about the thing this morning entirely.
Oh my god.
And I thought I was supposed to fall asleep, but you just forgot.
Versus me. Versus me yesterday. I thought I was late. Came home a little bit drunk, and I was like, went for a nap. Woke up. Shit. We're doing it today. No. Oh, thank fuck. It's tomorrow.
Oh, damn. It was like me today. I was cat sitting for a friend of mine. I stayed over their place last night, and I just stayed there for today because they're coming back from Europe at the moment. And I didn't want to leave the cats on their own for too long, so I said I'll stay as late as I can, and they're meant to be home by X time. And I was like, oh, I'll just have like a little nap on the sofa. Like 3 hours later, and I wake up in a panic thinking I overslept and that they could come home any minute.
So basically
Yeah.
what we're saying is, we're all a bit shit.
Yeah.
Well, sorry.
Sorry,
I'm
Nomad, you
normally
have
on it.
joined a group of very, very shit people.
Well, I
That feels
still
like
I
home already.
apologize to everyone else because I was on it and then I could give you reasons why I was distracted, but the bottom line is I just plumb forgot. And it wasn't until I was going through just Discord, just general, like anybody, like I always check whenever there's activity on in this channel and I'm like, oh, someone was posting. I'm like, oh my God. Today.
And considering we started so late,
Yeah.
oh my god! All of that reading as well.
I know.
It wasn't like you did this on one that was 4,000 words like Mortem.
Well, and I invested time, and I was thinking about it, and I'm like, I can't wait till we talk about this because and
Wasted.
then it was gone. I was just gone. Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, I had to go and do that phone call, so we were just talking about the ending.
Oh, okay.
Was it
just
rushed?
in time.
Do you want to talk about this one? Because overriding opinion so far has been fic is good, ending is not. Do you have any thoughts on this? You have the floor. Because literally I was commenting earlier when nobody was responding like, any clever here? He always responds.
Aww.
Yeah, but you weren't here. You were forgetting when we were even doing this.
Yeah.
So apparently you don't always respond.
I do, apparently. Well, when I'm around and remember, yeah.
So do you want to have your thoughts on the plot generally and the ending especially?
Okay. One of the things that I liked about this fic was that Rainbow ends up being like almost the main protagonist in it. And I don't read a lot of Rainbow being the main protagonist and actually rooting for Rainbow a lot. I if she's a side character, I can still root for her. But when she's the main character, most of the time when I read stories about her, it's hard. But this one I was rooting for her, and I do agree with the idea that the ending might have been a little rushed. But I didn't think it was so rushed that I was completely unsatisfied. I don't know, like it. I feel like I'm talking about something else right now, but we're talking about fiction, and it's. I suppose it could have gone on longer, but I'm on one hand I'm kind of glad it didn't, and on the other hand, there was some stuff that I think could have taken more time. I think there were some ideas that came out in that last chapter that I think could have used a little more development, and that was mostly when they were talking about how each one of them was sort of one of the elements, and it made sense in the context of the fic, but it could have used a little more development. But again, I still liked it. I had this scene in my head of like, that last, arching ending, where there's a face-off between Nightmare Moon and all the elements are kind of gathered, and just this idea that they're all kind of broken, but still the elements, and they're still able to command the elements. And then there's this like realization on Nightmare Moon's behalf that she really doesn't have the upper hand here. And that's very satisfying in how that particular scene plays out. At least it was to me, because, she was kind of an evil thought, and I was glad she got her comeuppance. But there was some really, to me, in that same scene, there was some very powerful understandings about Rainbow, and just trying to come to terms with the harm that she has caused in the world, and what makes a person noble or not in hard decisions like that, and acknowledging that she's not proud of everything that she did, or and she's sorry about the people, but that doesn't mean that she's incapable of being redeemed or being good. And I felt that powerfully. I think that people above a certain age, and I'm putting age on that only because I think if you're young enough, you don't have enough opportunities to have screwed up enough to really feel that unworthiness of having done things that you regret. I think that's why there's often a tension between younger adults versus older adults. The idealism that comes with youth because you haven't been forced to compromise necessarily at some certain points in your life. And I'm not saying that I've lived this, horrendous life of compromise, except when I can't remember to effing keep my schedule straight. But it's there was something very validating about that for me as a reader, and I liked that a lot. I think one of the things I would have liked to it left me wanting more. Like, I'm glad that the author decided to do sort of an epilogue because if they just cut it off like kind of at that scene, I mean, technically everything that was necessary was there, to sort of resolve the story as a whole, but you really want to know what happens after that. Because these characters aren't the characters we knew exactly. Like there's sort of this return to the characters that we knew kind of sort of maybe, but you kind of want to see how that happens or doesn't happen in this timeline, or this alternate universe, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. I don't know. Those were some of my thoughts on the whole thing.
Very well put together, as always.
That reminds me, they never mentioned what happened to Luna. She never appeared.
They did sorta, like just that. Hang on, I'll find it.
It's very offhanded.
I got the impression that Nightmare Moon was exorcised to somewhere, and Luna was what was kept back and resided by Celestia's side.
Yeah, but it would have been nice for them to elaborate on that. I don't know. I went through this and I consumed it via the audiobook because, full disclosure, the reason I picked this story is at the 2019 BronyCon, I bought the physical book and I'd always tried to read it and never actually quite got past the first chapter. And then years ago, I started listening to the audiobook and for some reason stopped with that as well. I think that was around the time I broke my phone and literally couldn't. So it was kind of to force me to read the thing I'd been trying. The third time was the charm. And I did it this time. And I love it. Apart from the fucking ending. It just felt like the audiobook was 4 minutes for the epilogue. And it just felt like, you can't wrap up a story like this in 4 minutes. And they didn't.
Yeah, like they left a lot of things unanswered. But in the epilogue, they do mention, say, oh yeah, and Princess Luna. What in Equestria was any pony supposed to make of her? And that's pretty much all they say about her. So you know that Luna exists. So I think we're meant to conclude that pretty much the same thing that happened in the original universe happened here, and that Nightmare Moon was exorcised and Luna, came back. But there's just a lot of questions, and in fact, that's all Rainbow is doing in this epilogue, is asking herself a lot of the questions that I'm sure the audience is kind of wondering.
Does anybody have anything else to add on this point?
No.
Nope.
I think we're good.
Thank you, Ilya. Thank you. Positive reinforcement, very much appreciated.
Yay!
Okay, so Ilya, yours is the next point. I apologize in advance, but it's me, so I have to mention Zikora's voice. Ilya.
I don't think you did it very well. I'm sorry.
Okay, want to say why?
There were a couple of places. I mean, first of all, the rhythm. But then I can't hold anybody accountable for my feelings on the rhythm. But there were sometimes when the rhyming was a little wimpy, and there were a couple of lines she spoke that there was no rhyme to, and that sort of took me out of the story. Is the only reason that it means anything to me, because when I'm reading Zikora, I can't help it. I'm looking for the rhyme. It's just part of the way I am.
I agree with you. The iambic pentameter was not there. There was a lot of slant rhymes and half rhymes, but not full rhymes. And the cadence of it was often off by a couple of... Yeah, it just wasn't great.
Agree.
It's better than other Zikoras I've read, I'll say that. In terms of her characterization, she was pretty on the nose.
Oh, yeah,
but in terms of her dialogue,
yeah.
Zikora dialogue is notoriously difficult to write.
Agree.
Anybody else got anything to add about Zikora? She's one of the background characters, actually. Probably should have mentioned her earlier.
She's pretty hot.
Spoken with the heart and soul of a Zikora-ite poet there, Clever.
I've written a few Zikora lines in a book that, I shouldn't say book, in a story that may never ever get finished.
Finish the story.
Finish it.
Everybody yell at Clever to finish the story.
Finish it, Clever.
Finish the story. Finish the story. Finish the story. Finish.
Finish it. Finish it.
Finish it.
Go on.
Finish it.
Go on. You can do it. You can do it. You know you want.
Okay.
There we go. We conversing. It's fine. Right.
Yay.
Ilya's second point. Other countries? ? Ilya, elaborate, please.
Well, they mentioned having treaties or agreements with other countries, and I really don't remember any other countries. There was the Yak territory, I guess, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of other countries in Equestria. There's just Equestria. And I wonder if anybody else ever thought anything about that.
Clever?
I mean, in the movie, we get sort of an expanded view of Equestria. I don't know if this was written before, after, or whichever.
It was written
but
directly after season 5, but before season 6 had started. Which is one of the reasons why Trixie doesn't really appear.
yeah, you say that like I can put that to when
It was
the movie
after
was.
Starlight Glimmer had just been converted to normal, but we didn't know she was Twilight's student yet. The School of Friendship and the Pillars, not a thing
Yeah, but
yet.
I still don't know where that fits in with the movie.
Movie was after all of that.
All right.
The movie was much later.
Okay.
Yeah, this was
I couldn't-
2015. Movie was 2017.
Okay, there we go. So then we don't know about the hippogriffs, but we do know about yaks. But Glinda was around, so we knew that griffins existed, but I don't know if we knew they were in a different country.
We did, because that was season 4.
Okay, well there you go.
We knew
So
we knew about the Dragonlands.
Yep, that
and
was
the
also season 4.
Dragonlands.
Okay,
So
my point.
I-
Cleverly defeated.
Okay. I mean, I was just going to point out that there were areas that, people didn't really know a lot about because they're creatures that, were outside there.
No. I'm always interested in that kind of thing. I'm a very boring person in that I find it fascinating about fictional world politics, which is why I've had to restrain myself quite extensively in Friendship is Tragic, talking about the politics of ruling. But, yeah, how the hell does Equestria, which is now under Eternal Night, fit in with the countries around it? And if it is Eternal Night just over Equestria, does everybody else have a separate sun? And if not, why the fuck is nobody invading to take out Nightmare Moon?
Or why isn't, why?
If every other
How is
country
it-
banded together to take out Mooney, she would not stand a chance.
I don't know about that. I mean, what resources would they have?
All their own magic, because at this point it's not really defined what magic they have, so it's a sandbox.
Well, I mean, it's whatever the author needs it to be. But I mean, if we're gonna just say, for the sake of argument, that there's only one sun, if
Does everybody else get Discord's magic to make the plants not die?
I don't know.
Maybe because I all I'm imagining it is that basically the sun has been eclipsed, so the whole world is enclosed by darkness.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really go with traditional physics because if you did, then I mean, there would be no heat either. Like the other side of the planet, if there is another side of the planet, or maybe
The world
it's
is
just
flat.
Maybe it's flat equestrians.
It kind of has to be for the sun
Because
and
the
the moon
other
to be
side
in the
would
sky
fry.
at both times.
It'd like fry. Well, the sun and the moon
Is this
can
like
be in this.
is it like Narnia, where like there's a literal edge of the world and the water goes over the edge?
I don't know. But for like the sun to be just on like one side of the planet, like the entire time, like that side would just be desert and fried and completely, non-livable. And
So potentially Saddle Arabia.
Saddle Arabia, I don't know. I mean, just because there's desert.
I do think the show missed a trick not developing the Saddle Arabians. Every other country got development and not Saddle Arabia. What the fuck?
I have a strong suspicion that they were concerned about stereotyping and potential.
And yet the yaks exist.
Well, who are they supposed to be?
The Vikings and everybody from Scandinavia.
I didn't get that.
I didn't catch that.
It was the idea of Vikings with the horns on the head and living in yurts and the stuff that goes on in traditional.
Yakistan.
Yeah. Also the name. The name is not great, let's be honest.
Yeah, Yakistan, was that it?
Yeah,
Yakistan.
Yakistan.
I mean,
I thought of it more as like a
I don't know.
Siberian thing or something.
It's like what they're trying to go like Istanbul sort of thing. I don't know. Like
Yeah, it just seems to be like it's the Saudi Arabia that's from movies, not the real place.
yeah, basically Aladdin.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. It's definitely got an Aladdin vibe.
like Agrabah,
Yeah.
but Yakistan.
Yeah.
I don't know if the parallels can be that close. I think with like Arabia in the name and like I'm just spitballing. I'm thinking that's the first thing that comes to my mind as a reason not to do it. And it's like, well, how obvious would this be? Because I'll be honest, the whole Scandinavian like Viking thing did over my head.
Well, let me ask you
But-
this: was Zebrica canon, or is that something that was?
It was
made?
canon in the comics.
Okay.
They never ever defined Zikora's backstory or anything to do with her heritage in the show. But it was the basis of the entirety of like season 10.
Season 10. Man,
It was
I
a
gotta read the
comic
comics.
only event. It's not worth it, trust me.
Well, you say that. but-
Although that said, there is a character called Keridwen in it.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
Yeah,
She's
that's
like-
true.
She was like a parrot queen, wasn't she? I discovered her via the game when I was looking for Keridwen's pony Sona to use in a previous podcast way back at the beginning. And I had to send it to her going, look, you're canon!
wow, I'm
Huzzah.
real.
Oh my god.
Anybody got anything else to add about this?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
No.
I think we're good.
Okay then, so let's move on. I'm just going to scratch that out. These are all from Ilya. He's carrying the rest of you on this. Redoing
is,
the
yeah.
first episode, caught between it being trite and wondering how it would be played. Ilya, explain.
First of all, sorry about all this stuff I tagged in there, but
You were
Somebody-
literally the only person apart from me. I just thank you very much.
things kept coming up to my head. Like when I was reading it, very early on, I think, right after they went into the Everfree Forest, and the first thing was Discord, really, when Pinky had to make him laugh. I began to say, hey, wait a minute. Are they just doing the first episode over again where they go into the Everfree and everybody has to demonstrate their special talent and all this? And, you know, I was really a little bit put off by it at first. I thought, oh, this is okay. They got to do this. But then, you know, I began to get curious about how they would play out, and it made it more enjoyable. I don't know if anybody else felt anything about that or not. That was my feeling.
What do other people think of this?
I actually also caught on relatively quick. I mean, I liked that Discord appeared. I liked that he added the whole thing about him making the plants thing. It was quite nice because I had wondered about that. But
Yeah, it did seem clever.
yeah. But I was also curious of how they were going to do it because it was so simple in the show. You know, AJ helping Twilight to not fall, to trust her and honesty and all that, and then Fluttershy, and that was very obvious. But how they were going to do it in a situation like this, well, yeah, it may have been a replay, but it was different enough that I didn't know how they were going to show the different aspects. I mean, Fluttershy's one was kind of thrown in there, but like we've kind of covered it. I don't know how they would have done that otherwise, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It definitely felt like Fluttershy deserved her own storyline to make this work, rather than just, Rainbow, I forgive you. What? By the way, Fluttershy, some of those things you cannot forgive her for. You weren't the one wronged by them.
Oh my.
Yeah, but she's the only one that matters to Rainbow Dash.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that plot point. Clever?
I really liked Pinky's being made to like try and laugh at this point, because I believe at that point we had started to understand just how broken an individual she was. You know, having been a general in a lead of a resistance, to having been forced to, you know, serve cupcakes at the canteen for Nightmare Moon. It was almost like it was therapy. Like, how are we going to put this person back together? And I thought that made it more poignant, and just how are we going to do this again? Because it really felt like every time one of these individuals, with the exception of Fluttershy, was somehow displaying their element, that it was an act of, what's the word? They were being rehabilitated. It's like an act of
A little
rehabilitation.
bit, yeah. The Applejack
And-
one especially.
And Rainbow. But
I would argue Rarity maybe less so.
Perhaps. Yes. And like I said, nothing really for Fluttershy. But had they kept that motif for all of them, I think it might have been a bit more satisfying.
I agree. I think the lack of satisfaction is the thing that's bothering me most about the ending and all the concurrent bits that we're talking about. It's that lack of narrative satisfaction, and the build-up was so good, and it just, yeah. And if you write this, yeah.
I would like to have known if Rarity got her money back.
Well, yeah. Does she have to pay Caballeron since she literally brought back the sun so we can go and steal the sun rings or whatever?
I love that she has a checkbook on her, so potentially that checkbook could really just bounce.
No, I'm afraid, this is too torn. Did you carry it through a jungle or something?
Or she just do a Pinkie Pie and, have it in her mane somewhere.
Yeah. Also, let's be honest, who the fuck has a checkbook?
I do.
You still use checkbooks?
We have one.
I have one, and I still get checks from my grandparents on occasion.
Aww.
Okay, that's one of the only times I can
That's
think.
kind of adorable.
Yeah, that's adorable. Right,
I had
anybody got
I had
anything else
used
to
one
say
recently.
about this point? What, did you?
Yeah.
Who the fuck's taking checks in 2024?
Well, it was a contractor, and it was for a sizable amount of money, so I couldn't just directly deposit it to him. And there were other ways we could have done it, but it would have ended up costing a stupid amount of money just to give him money. So a check was what we did.
Makes sense in that very rarefied circumstance then.
I had to find that checkbook, but yep. I was actually asking the bank if I could order some more checks, and they were like, "Yeah, that'll cost this amount of money." I was like, "Whoa."
What?
Checkbooks used to be free.
Yeah,
I swear they did. Yeah, you just got given them.
I'm like, I have a checking account. Why would I be paying? I'm already paying monthly to have a checking account.
Oh shit, you have to pay for a checking account. We don't do that in the UK.
Well, if you, there's different ways of doing. I'm not going to get into that, but I do pay money for my checking account. So why are you not giving me checks? And they're like, well, we've always charged for checks. And I'm like, I don't think you have, but okay. I will just go
from your bank.
Do I smell burning pants?
Yeah, right. So I was like, I'll just go find my checkbook then, that I'm sure I haven't used all those checks yet. But I just, in case I couldn't find it, I was wondering if I could. Never mind.
Does anyone have anything to add?
I do like
add about banks, but I'll stick by it.
I was going to say, with the Pinkie Pie's scene with Discord trying to get a laugh out of him, I felt. I know it's the cupcake song, but I felt
I heard cupcake cuck. I'm just gonna put that out there.
So sorry.
Cupcake
song.
Well,
if we do think that potentially Mr. Cake is raising somebody else's children.
I'm going to masticate on that cupcake cuck.
Shush. Mr. Cake's the one sat in the chair.
Yeah.
Oh God. Anyway, the song the song that she sings. I'm not going to say it again. It felt something reminiscent of the first episode, the very first episode of Friendship is Magic, but with the whole is she really singing? But instead, it's sort of how is she doing this? Which is a nice twist on it. And she's like, oh yeah, I just could feel the chaos magic and worked with it. I didn't know, and yeah, it just felt like a nice sort of mixture or thread.
Yeah, and they remarked about the magical music that suddenly appeared.
Well, that's that chaos magic. And I kind of like that
ambient
idea.
chaos. Well, it fits with Pinkie Pie, doesn't it?
Right? I kind of like that idea that she can just kind of call upon it when she needs to or wants to, or the feeling is right. And not that she controls it exactly, because if she could control it, that'd be too much.
Too OP.
Sorry?
Too OP.
Too overpowered, but also it doesn't fit with chaotic, right? That'd be too much control. And if you could truly control chaos, then is it chaos?
It's more
true.
It's more like you have to collaborate with chaos rather than control it.
Yes, that sounds like a great title. Collaborate with chaos.
Ooh.
Of
Totally not
course.
stealing that for my OC's
Of course.
backstory.
Of course, yes, your
Cupcake.
OC is a Draconicus.
Yeah.
Of course, Cupcake Cuck is also a great title.
Sakes.
You're not living that one down. You spent the first chunk of this podcast making fun of me. Now we've got ammunition against you.
Me?
Yeah,
Yes.
you. Taking bets on when I was going to swear.
Actually, Midnight asked the question. She said, like, how long do you think? I was like, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, you had less faith in me. Admittedly, it was warranted, but you know. Right.
Yeah, I
That
don't
is
have
just
just 5
onto-
minutes.
I
Oh
will
my
add a
God.
point onto the whole chaos thing though, because of my OC. It's one of those things like when you're thinking about chaos magic and stuff, you really got to think about it, and you can't just kind of slap it on there and be like, "This is a thing," and it's like, well, no, you kind of have to give it a reason as to why. And I tell you that the whole like me thinking of the reason as to why with my OC is like it took me so long, but once I got it down, I was like, this makes perfect sense.
Should chaos make sense?
I mean, what is fun in making sense?
It's logically illogical.
Exactly.
Okay.
But it's like it's sort of like, you know, when you put a character in a thing, it's like don't just put the character in there for the sake of. You need to give them the reason as to why.
Chaos has purpose? Really?
Oh, there's a place for it. It doesn't have to
there?
make sense, but there's a place for it.
Is there? Isn't that the point? I feel like it's those people who are trying to be rebels, but you can't actually be a rebel because then you conform.
Yeah, true. It's like the ones that say anarchy, and it's like actually they conform to society more than most.
Anyway,
Okay, in which case, we're on to Ilya's last point and also the whole last point, the title. Ilya, care to elaborate?
What the hell does that mean? Spark
Is this
Visions of Twilight.
Spark Visions of Twilight.
What the hell is that?
I reckon it's either the story was going to go in a very different direction to begin with, and that's why there was so much emphasis on Twilight, or it's meant to be about Rainbow Dash and about how Twilight sparked visions in her of a different life.
Or it
Oh,
could have been rewritten as
yeah.
like
Stretch.
I'm rereading it as like Dark Visions of Twilight, but they really wanted to have like that Twilight Sparkle, so they were
That'd
like
be a great
Spark
title for this.
Visions.
Yeah, I'll admit, the title made me think it was going to be a Twilight story, and I genuinely really thought Twilight's lack of control over her magic was going to make her the MVP in that final fight, and that was how it was going to justify the title, and it just didn't happen.
I feel like it could have been Sparse Visions of Twilight.
Wow, that is brilliant. Yes, all
That's
of my
got to be
yes.
the title.
agree.
Yes, sparse villains. Villains, no, it's not sparse villains.
Sparse villains
Although
of
Nightmare's
Twilight.
not in it either, so it is sparse villains of Twilight. Doodle jinx.
Eh.
What's that?
What kind of noise was that?
You sounded
Squeak!
You sounded
Sound
like a
like a mech.
tortoise humping a croc.
Oh my goodness.
That's an image.
Have much experience with that.
Have you not seen the tortoise humping the shoe? The
I
croc
mean, I have,
video.
but
No.
You did set. Hang on, I'll find that for you, Clever.
Oh boy.
Nope.
And
It's
this-
like 5 seconds long. You're going to find it.
Boy.
I'm going to find it. I'm going to show it to you, and you're going to see how that sounds like Doodle Jinx.
Oh boy.
God
Oy
damn it! Am I
vey.
going to be associated with a shoe now?
Yeah, you are.
Oh.
No. I mean, technically, my character could turn into one.
Not a shoe.
Not just
Who
any
throws a
shoe.
shoe?
But a shoe, especially one with holes in it.
Humping hole shoes.
Shooting jinx.
What do you think the holes are for?
Oh god!
Oi. Who throws a shoe?
I might have suddenly thinking
Go
of
to
like,
go to 15 seconds.
no. I don't wanna.
Do it. Do it.
Uh-oh.
Oh god.
I'm watching.
I'm not watching. I can't see the link.
Oh,
I'm not watching
Just
either,
the
just
title is
because.
awful.
Oh, it's a little turtle. Oh,
Can you hear the noise he makes and how it sounds like
Yeah.
Doodle Jinx?
it was just a oh.
No.
But it's
Yes.
cute coming from the turtle.
Cute coming. Hmm.
Okay, I heard that after you said it.
What, like the cupcake cut?
Yeah.
You realise, Carrie Twin, the little names I give everybody in the description, you have to be that now.
Oh.
and Doodle Jinx is going to have to be Tortoise impressionist.
Oh, damn it!
Aw.
I guess there could be worse
Wait,
things to
what,
be.
what did you put me? What name did you put me under?
You're going to be Cupcake.
Oh.
And it will make no sense to anybody until they have listened to the podcast.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Fanny is so going to use that over me.
Yes, she is. Oh my god, she is.
You know, have you given me a name for the last podcast yet?
I did. What did I give you? Let's see what I can remember. Let's go back and find out. What did I put you down as? I love the fact that you never realised that I was doing that. It was showing that nobody reads the descriptions. Nobody reads the descriptions. What did I put down as? It was a month ago. Fuck. Morton was a month ago. You are, in this one, didn't realise I rename him every episode.
No, not that one. Was there not another one?
There's been a few. Last time it was you didn't realise I rename him. Midori's Fic Picker. Vladdy is Lich Please. And Ilya was Celestia's Butt's Glorious Roundness' biggest fan. Yes.
You have
Well,
way
I'm
too much
curious what
fun.
my
with
names
these.
have been, because I actually
But-
haven't noticed either.
But you were supposed to
But-
put next to your name Stripler.
Celestia's butt.
No, I did not put my name down as Stripler, thank you very much.
You were supposed to.
No, I did not. I'm always moderator. I am the one who controls the description. I don't have to give myself that name.
Moderator in brackets, aka Strickler.
Exactly.
Well, Midnight, last time you were on, you were Loquacious Lupine. Because I do like a bit of alliteration.
Ooh!
This
okay.
time around, it's going to be Nomad Flicker, questioning life choices.
Okay, sure. Why not?
Oh, I know what it was. I wanted to see what you were going to put under. It wasn't under them's writing words. It was under Would I Lie to You? That's what it was.
The Would I Lie to You is edited and put together, but not coming out until after Christmas. Because there's going to be a Christmas special.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
in the
then.
Wilty thing. I will send out things.
That makes more sense.
Ooh. Speaking about like Wilty, can we change, if it's possible, to go from change my link from Twitter Twix to Blue Sky, please?
Sure, if you'd like. I haven't put out the new one yet, so I can do all the shifting about.
The shitting and the shifting.
Shifting! Oh my god, my accent's not that bad.
Shit
First-
fisting.
First cucking and then shitting and then freaking
And then tortoise sex.
Tortoise sex.
Shall we, perchance, carry on? Because people do need to go to bed, because I'm aware it's 10 o'clock where some people are.
Yeah, and I got school tomorrow.
Yeah,
Oh,
so,
I noticed that.
So, the title. Anybody got anything to add about the title?
I prefer the remodded suggested one.
That's
Sparse.
generally how we do things here.
Yes.
Right, in which case we're on to final thoughts, and then I shall spin the wheel. So, final thoughts. I'm going to start with Nomad, because Nomad has been left out for a little bit. Nomad, final thoughts on the story.
I'm good with just hanging out. Enjoyable, maybe needs a little more expanding on lore and world building, but overall it was a good read.
Midnight?
Good read. Of course, could have been expanded on, but overall, good fun and good laughs.
Ilya?
I thought it was a good story. Could have been a great story if they had put another chapter between the last chapter and the epilogue. But yes, it was good.
Yes, agreed. Doodle Jinx?
I didn't read it.
But
I know you haven't
read
read it,
it.
but based on our discussions, would you like to?
with all the revisions that have been suggested, probably yes.
Yay! Clever, the latecomer. Thoughts, final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
You didn't really get your first thoughts, but you got your final thoughts.
All right. Worth a read. Some very clever things done in the story. Some very satisfying bits. Definitely still room for it to... I like what Ilya said. It's a good fic. It could have been a great fic. But still recommend.
And cupcake.
Dinner with everybody else.
And with that, I shall spin the wheel. Spin, 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 spin. And... Okay. On the first edition, Nomad Flicker, it's chosen you.
Ta-da!
Yay!
So,
congratulations!
What fic are we reviewing next time?
Did you know you had to
If I
bring a
say I
fic?
have no idea, can I pass? To be fair, I've been scrolling on.
You can't just pick a
the
random one
website.
for us.
Yeah, I have one. My Little Pony and Your Generation. Your name across the generation. Oh, that's 2 generations in the title. Even without wings, it's apparently before G5, and it's
Okay.
about Rainbow Dash. That looks fun.
Yeah, we
maybe.
can do that one if you'd like. So, what was the name of that?
It too long. Your name across the generation, even without wings.
So
Your
next
name
time we'll
across
be
the
doing
generations.
Your Name Across the Generations, Even Without Wings, will be our fic for next time. Thank you very much then for everybody coming and listening to us in our silliness. And it's a goodbye from me. It's goodbye from Caridwin.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye from Clever Hooves.
Hello and goodbye.
Goodbye from Doodle Jinx.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye from Ilya Leonov.
Yes, and have a pleasant whatever is left of your day.
Goodbye from
Oh
Midnight
my
29.
god, his voice is like butter.
Not foreboding at all.
Keep watching that moon, everyone. Bye.
And goodbye from Nomad Flicker.
Thank you for welcoming me, and see you later.
Bye!
Bye.
Bye.
Yes, his voice is like butter.
So smooth.
Foreboding
So sweet.
butter.